Hey there everyone, welcome to this week's video. So excited that you are here because today we're going to have a peep inside my portable sewing kit right here. Some of you have been asking, where do I do my crafting? Where do you sew? Do you have a space? I wish. I don't have a space. It is literally wherever is clear and large enough for me to lay out my things. I do a lot of my cutting on the floor. Sometimes I'll get use of the coffee table that's in front of me right here. I do a lot of sewing over here as well, just because it's large enough for me to lay out all my tools as well as my sewing machine. But what is really essential, of course, are all of your little tidbits that you keep around as part of your crafting collection. And I have recently been using this setup for a couple of months now. It's been working out great for me. It helps me keep things under control and small and organized. If you don't do a heavy amount of sewing on a regular basis, this is, I think, perfectly large and functional enough for you. So I'm going to take you through all the layers. I will have the link to this box down below in the information bar. It is a Sterilite box. You can get larger sizes, smaller sizes, but this one is perfect for me. Again, all the info will be down below, so check that out. I'm sure these boxes, if not by the same brand, will be available from other similar brands who make plastic containers and things like that. As well, I do want to take a moment and say thank you to everyone who's been leaving such nice comments here on my sewing videos. I started, making them because, again, sewing is something I really enjoy on top of beauty and things like that. But I've always wasn't sure if there was a viewership out there for this, and I recently realized from your comments that many of you have just come from sewing backgrounds and that you watch my videos because of the sewing. So I'm so happy to hear that, whether you are a new sewist or seamstress in the making, or you have recently reignited your enthusiasm for crafting and sewing because of my videos. I'm really happy for you, and I hope to share future content with you. So let's get you in a little closer and we can open my sewing box. Now this is my 3-tiered portable sewing box. It is all plastic, super inexpensive. It's got a nice handle up top that is sturdy enough to carry all of the tiers. All the tiers are locking and also interchangeable, so you can stack them in any format that you would like. Of course, the top one is always the lid, and we can open that with the latches on the sides. Now inside my first tier, I have some essentials. Of course, my fabric scissors. These are from Fiskars. I also have my little sassy tomato right here. I also have some additional pins on the bottom. Sometimes I use these if my tomato is running low. I have, of course, a pair of teeny tiny, super portable and folding scissors for snipping loose thread and things like that. So that's here as well. Of course, we have the all-important seam gauge. Now, even better than using a seam gauge, I have been really loving this 6-in-1 stick and stitch guide, which is just so good. I kept the packaging so I can show you. So essentially it is a little plastic thing like so. It has markings for the common widths that you would use for sewing, but it also has this little bit which is sticky on the back, and you can stick this on your sewing machine right on the plate, and this acts as a guide so you can measure your seam allowance and keep your stitching super straight, especially if you're a beginner. This is great. And as you pull the pins out, you can pop the pins right in here. This is from the brand Clover. You get 2 pieces in one. I just usually use one of them. Now I also have in here some really old crafting needles. I actually think these are from a thrift store that my mother had picked out. So they're mine now. They're from J&P Coats, super classic company. Whole bunch of needles right here I use sometimes for just different small crafts. I also have here a tracing wheel, super important, but not the best thing. I have currently been using tracing paper, and that's been so much better than using the carbon paper and trying to trace with the tracing wheel. Now both of these right here are chalk markers for marking your fabric. I don't love this one. I'm not even going to talk about it, so goodbye, it goes. This is from Clover as well, and this seemed rather expensive when I bought it off of Amazon, but it has been so useful. It is essentially chalk filled, powdered chalk, and as you move this little wheel right here, it marks up your fabric. So loving this one, plus it comes in a lid, plus you can get refillables, so that's very nice. Of course, I also have a regular marking pen, dressmaker's pencil, which is essentially chalk based. And of course, you cannot go without your measuring tape, so that is in here too. Alright, into our second tier right here. I keep a variety of small things, mostly thread and ribbon and things like that, if I am using them for a current project. Now my container actually came with this insert that you can take out. You can put this in any of the tiers. I decided to use it for the middle one, and this separates the current thread I am using for whatever project I'm working on. You may recognize some of these colors and know exactly what I've been making. I've also got some, this is belting for waistband. I've got different types of threads in here. I've got little labels for putting on the back of my garments that I've handmade. I've also got, of course, my bobbins, empty ones, and just little bits and things that you might need, but you don't need to have them ready as you do in the top tier. Now my third and last tier is really just a bunch of miscellaneous things for the machine. This is in here because I recently bought it. It is a zipper guide. I should probably put that on the top tier. Let's move that. I have needles that I recently bought for my sewing machine as well, so that was in here because this is just stuff for the machine. I also have this even smaller container that has small individual sections to hold all the accessories for my sewing machine because they're large and chunky. I used to have them all just in a small bag, but it was such a pain to go and reach for them and dig around. This just keeps everything nice and easy and accessible. These type of containers are super easy to find and inexpensive as well. I bought mine at Daiso for $2. I keep all my attachments in here, and when I'm not using it, it just closes up and it stays on the very bottom of my 3 tiers. And as the sun is going down, this wraps up our video for today. I really hope you found this both useful as well as resourceful. If you needed ideas on what to keep in your sewing kit, this is everything I keep that's portable for my machine sewing. I do have another even smaller setup for hand sewing things and embroidery and whatnot, but that's just needles and thread and a little pair of scissors. There's nothing really all that interesting in there. This is the bigger, I think more functional box that most people would be interested in. I always love hearing from you. So if you enjoy this video, give it a big thumbs up in the voting down there so I know to make more of them. And if you really love it, leave a comment for me. I love reading your comments. I love engaging and chatting with you and just hearing about what you have been up to and making in your own sewing journey. And of course, as always, if you've got a suggestion for either a sewing video or anything that appears on my channel, you know what to do. Leave me a comment down below and or hit me up over on social media. I am always around. You know where to find my links. They're in the information bar under this video if you expand the info bar. So until next time, take wonderful care of yourselves. Happy sewing, happy crafting, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye for now.